Weeds, a chore that most gardeners have to deal with at some point, unless you happen to garden exclusively indoors. However, there's no reason to let pulling weeds take over your gardening life as long as you take a few precautions. The easiest step to prevent the majority of weeds in your garden is to not till the soil. But if that ship has already sailed, don't worry. It's not too late for you to stop the weeds from coming up. Tilling the soil brings up weed seeds that never would have seen the light of day if the soil wasn't tilled. Tilling also disrupts the balance of organisms in the soil, so if you can avoid tilling in the future, it will probably help your plants thrive. Whether you have or haven't tilled, the first line of defense against weeds is still the same, using physical barriers to keep weeds from ever showing up in the first place. This means mulch. The beauty of biodegradable mulch is that it has multiple benefits. It smothers weeds, keeps moisture in the soil so you have to water less, keeps plant roots cool, prevents erosion, and it breaks down over time, adding nutrients back to the soil. If you have a full garden of weeds already, you'll need to put down a thick, preferably biodegradable covering, such as cardboard or newspaper, in order to kill the weeds that are already there without picking every single one of them. If the reason your garden plot is full of weeds is because it is a completely new garden bed and you're starting from scratch, you probably want to add some good soil and compost on top of your cardboard first before adding more mulch. If your soil is already good, but just heavily overrun with weeds, you can get away with some cardboard or newspaper and some broken up mulch on top of it, such as wood chips, straw, grass clippings, or leaves. Just make sure that by the time you're ready to plant, the cardboard is broken down, or you will need to cut holes in it where you put your plants. If your area is not already overrun with weeds, skip the heavy cardboard and just put a thick layer of leaves, wood chips, grass clippings, or straw around your plants. Of course, if the only thing you have is cardboard or newspaper, go ahead and use that anyway. Mulch doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. Just don't use grass from a lawn that has been treated with chemicals, and avoid black plastic and landscape cloth. It's hard to enhance the soil nutritionally over time if there's a barrier preventing new organic matter from breaking down and putting nutrients on top of the soil. If you use a material that does not break down quickly, your plants will be stuck forever growing in the same soil that will become nutrient poor over time. So use that natural mulch, and use it a lot. If, despite all your efforts, weeds do start to show up in your garden, it's best to catch them quickly when they're small, before they become a big problem or start to go to seed. If you just pick those few small weeds per day, instead of waiting until there are an overwhelming amount of weeds, then you'll be able to maintain your garden better. And hey, if you follow this mulching method and a few weeds do pop up, as long as they're not interfering with the growth of your plants, just leave them, especially if they're a flower that would be beneficial for attracting bees. Or if it's an edible weed that you can just harvest and eat later. I know society pressures people to have completely weed-free gardens, but it's okay. It'll be okay. Another weed-preventing tip is trying to design your garden so there's not a lot of empty space for weeds to take over. Make sure you have a copious amount of plants. Keep a thick layer of mulch on the walkways. You can also strategically plant different heights of plants to build layers that shade the soil, making an unwelcome environment for seed germination. When watering, water only the planted areas, not the bare areas. This has the added benefit of saving water. Apply mulch early in the season before annual weed seeds germinate. I keep leaf mulch on my garden year-round, so the soil doesn't erode and the leaves are constantly breaking down and adding nutrients to the soil. This is my main garden bed right now. It's rather boring this time of year. There are no signs of weeds due to the thick layer of leaf mulch that has been here all winter. So now I'll wish you good luck on your weed-free journey. Be sure to like this video and click that subscribe button. Goodbye!